Hello friends. What happens when the elegance of a Libra collides with the fiery precision of a rooster? You get someone who's as charming as a diplomat at a gala, but as relentless as a morning alarm you can't snooze. This is no ordinary personality combo. A Libra born in the year of the rooster is a complex cocktail of aesthetics and ambition, balance and boldness, politeness and perfectionism. So let's dive into the world of these paradoxical powerhouses, and trust me, it's going to be a fascinating ride. Love, the balancing act of fire and air, expanded. Falling in love with a Libra born in the year of the rooster is like getting swept into a novel you didn't expect to love, but suddenly can't put down. At first glance, they radiate grace, courtesy, and a hint of romantic idealism. They walk through life like the protagonist of an old-school love story, where charm is strategy, and emotional nuance is a language they speak fluently. But beneath that Venus-ruled elegance is a razor-sharp rooster backbone, full of timing, calculation, and drive. This person doesn't fall in love accidentally. They study the angles, learn the rhythm, then dive in fully prepared. Their love life is rarely passive. A Libra rooster won't stumble into a relationship without weighing its long-term value. They are romantics, yes, but they're not fools. They know what works for them and what doesn't, and while they may flirt like artists, their heart is not up for grabs casually. The rooster's influence keeps them grounded in practicality, even when the Libra side dreams of sunsets and soft music. They want something beautiful, but also something that makes sense. The person they give their heart to must meet them on every level, intellectually, emotionally, and yes, visually. If it doesn't look and feel aligned, they'll walk away with grace, but without looking back. At the start of a romantic connection, you'll notice their attention to detail. The compliments aren't generic, they're tailored, thoughtful, and delivered like a carefully placed gift. They'll notice how you speak, dress, carry yourself. They'll laugh at your jokes but later reflect on what those jokes reveal about your psyche. This is love as analysis and enchantment, a dazzling mix. You'll feel seen, desired, and slightly studied. Don't take offense. The rooster doesn't waste time on fleeting flames. If they're investing energy in you, it's because they're genuinely intrigued by the possibility of building something real. But once feelings deepen, the contradictions emerge. Libra's desire to keep the peace often clashes with the rooster's tendency to enforce order. When conflicts arise, and they will, the Libra side may try to smooth things over with grace, hoping to maintain balance. Yet if the tension persists or threatens their inner equilibrium, the rooster takes over, and suddenly the one who seemed so diplomatic becomes sharply critical, direct, and unrelenting. They won't explode without reason, but when they do, it's with intent. It's not just anger, it's a call for recalibration. They don't just want resolution, they want better. In a committed relationship, they're fiercely loyal, as long as they feel respected. They're not needy, but they expect a mutual effort. Emotionally, they want depth, shared introspection, and progress. Physically, they value aesthetics, how you care for yourself, your surroundings, and your life. Spiritually, they're attracted to growth. If their partner becomes complacent, careless, or unmotivated, the Libra rooster will notice long before they say anything. And when they finally speak up, it won't be with a gentle nudge. It'll be with clarity, and sometimes a surprising finality. But when love works for them, when the stars align and the dynamic feels purposeful, they are devoted. Not in a smothering way, but in a refined, intentional kind of loyalty. They remember your needs before you ask. They plan ahead. They create environments that reflect both of you. They support your dreams while pursuing their own. And every now and then, they'll surprise you with something poetic, because even perfectionists need to express their softer side. A relationship with a Libra rooster is not always easy, but it's always rich, thoughtful, and full of meaning. You won't just fall in love with them, you'll grow in love with them. Because once they let you in, they'll want to build something exquisite. Something balanced, something lasting. Marriage, a partnership of style and structure. When a Libra rooster enters marriage, it's not with a shrug and a "we'll see what happens." It's with a 5-year plan, color-coded budget spreadsheets, and a Pinterest board for the wedding decor that somehow looks like it was curated by a team of Scandinavian architects. This is not a person who marries out of boredom or pressure. For them, marriage must be intentional, a true merger of values, aesthetics, and purpose. They don't want just a spouse, they want a partner in design, ambition, and personal growth. They treat marriage the way a visionary treats a brand, carefully cultivated, constantly evolving, and built on a clear, high-standard mission. The Libra in them seeks harmony and emotional resonance, while the Rooster demands order, precision, and daily forward momentum. It's not just about being in love, it's about building something beautiful and functional together. Marriage, to them, is a fusion of heart and blueprint. A place where dreams are not only shared but scheduled, budgeted, and carried out with elegance. They gravitate toward partners who are emotionally literate and intellectually driven. Someone who can communicate openly and put effort into building a future. A partner who knows how to dream out loud, then immediately opens Google Calendar. The Libra Rooster thrives in a relationship where discussions about feelings are just as important as deciding which smart light system to install in the living room. They crave synergy, the kind that feels like two individuals are greater together than they could ever be alone. Within marriage, they often naturally step into a managerial role, not because they want to dominate, but because it soothes them to know what's going on. The Rooster side loves planning and structure, the Libra side needs peace and balance. Combine those impulses, and you have someone who manages vacation itineraries with joyful precision and keeps track of everything from medical appointments to the expiration date on your car insurance. They're often the house CEO, managing the emotional climate and the household logistics with equal skill. That said, their perfectionism can be both a strength and a stumbling block. When they feel that the structure of their marriage is compromised, when things become too chaotic, disorganized, or emotionally inconsistent, they react. At first, it might come out as silent stress, a clenched jaw, a reorganized closet at 3 a.m., or pointed questions about why the dishes are still in the sink. If left unaddressed, this stress escalates into critique. Not necessarily loud, but sharp. They'll cloak it in civility, Libra style, but you'll hear the edge in every helpful suggestion. The message? Shape up, or this harmony we built is going to crack. Still, their intentions are good. Everything they do in marriage is driven by a desire for excellence, beauty, and mutual satisfaction. They don't just want a happy marriage, they want an impressive one. The couple that others admire. The home that feels curated yet warm. The bond that looks effortless, even though they've spent years refining the details. They'll work tirelessly to create this, often going above and beyond to make sure their spouse feels seen, supported, and celebrated. But in return, they need acknowledgement. Not dramatic praise, just consistent, sincere recognition. Tell them you appreciate how they've handled the finances, how they made your birthday special, how they always keep the house running. Validation fuels them. It's not about ego, it's about feeling that their effort is meaningful. And while they may not always show it with grand displays, their commitment runs deep. They'll stand by you in sickness, in burnout, and in crisis, but they'll also challenge you to become better, more focused, more graceful under pressure. Because in the Libra Rooster's mind, love is not just about comfort, it's about becoming more together than either of you could be apart. Ultimately, being married to a Libra Rooster is like living in a well-designed, emotionally intelligent strategy session, one where love is the mission, growth is the method, and style is always part of the equation. Sex. Aesthetic fireworks with a to-do list. For the Libra Rooster, sex is neither purely spontaneous nor purely mechanical. It's a curated experience, something deliberately designed, emotionally engaging, and mentally stimulating. It's a space where sensuality meets structure, where beauty isn't just appreciated but choreographed. While some people are satisfied with chemistry alone, the Libra Rooster treats intimacy like an evolving art form, one where satisfaction is deeply tied to preparation, refinement, and yes, execution. Libra, ruled by Venus, brings a luxurious tenderness to their approach. They're naturally romantic and deeply attuned to physical touch, to atmospheres, to emotional nuances communicated through skin and breath. This is someone who believes in eye contact, soft lighting, and silky sheets. They take pleasure in the entire build-up, in the whispers before the kiss, in the slow unwrapping of anticipation. But then enters the rooster, sharp, focused, and slightly competitive, and suddenly this tender experience gains an edge of intention. Now, it's not just about feeling good, it's about doing it well. Really well. They don't just have sex. They design the experience. This means music that matches the mood, probably a playlist they've edited down to perfection, lighting that flatters both bodies, scents that trigger memory and warmth, and a tidy, inviting setting. A cluttered room? A harsh light bulb? Total buzzkill. The environment has to match the emotion, or the Libra Rooster can't relax into the moment. They need beauty to create openness, and structure to feel fully present. Foreplay, for them, is not optional, it's a highlight. They relish the slow climb, the teasing, the interplay of glances and touch. They're not in a rush to reach the destination because the journey is where the artistry happens. Yet even as they melt into the rhythm of seduction, the rooster side is quietly observing, adjusting, and remembering. They're learning your responses, storing details for later. You like that touch on your shoulder? Noted. Your breathing changed when they kissed your neck? That goes on the mental spreadsheet. Every night isn't the same, but every night is connected. And then comes the performance aspect. The rooster brings a desire for excellence to everything they do, including sex. They don't want to just be a good lover, they want to be unforgettable. This creates a kind of silent ambition in the bedroom. Not egotistical, not aggressive, but a drive to master the experience. They want feedback, even if you don't give it directly. They want to evolve the experience. This makes sex with them dynamic. It gets better, sharper, more emotionally attuned over time. However, their high standards mean they expect a lot from their partner, too. Enthusiasm is essential, curiosity is welcome, effort is mandatory. If their partner zones out, gets lazy, or treats intimacy as a chore, the Libra Rooster notices immediately. They might not say anything at first. Libra's tact will hold their tongue, but their energy will shift. They'll become more distant, more critical, and perhaps slowly disengaged. Worse, they may begin to view their partner through a filter of quiet disappointment, which is difficult to reverse once it sets in. On the flip side, when the connection does feel mutual, when their partner shows presence, appreciation, and reciprocity, the Libra Rooster is magnetic. Passionate, precise, intuitive. They'll meet you where you are and elevate the experience. Their rhythm is thoughtful, their attention is sharp, and their ability to read the moment is unmatched. They may even bring playfulness and humor into the bedroom once trust is firmly established, surprising for someone so polished, but deeply rewarding for the partner who stays present and engaged. They're also explorers, though in a structured way. They're not necessarily wild or extreme, but they are deeply curious. If they trust you, they'll want to experiment, but not recklessly. They'll suggest, not demand. They'll plan a night that's a little different but still elegant. Maybe it's a new location, a role play, or a surprise outfit that aligns with their aesthetic taste. Whatever it is, it will be thought out and designed for maximum impact. In the end, sex with a Libra Rooster is not just about the act, it's about the experience as a whole. It's about what you say before, how you hold each other after, how it fits into the emotional landscape of your relationship. It's passion with polish, desire with discipline. And once you understand that, you'll realize they're not just lovers, they're curators of connection. Artists of intimacy. And if you're lucky enough to be their canvas, you'll never forget the way they make you feel. Friendship. Loyal, selective, and slightly judgy. When it comes to friendship, the Libra Rooster is not your casual, grab coffee once in a while kind of companion. They're discerning, highly selective about who they let into their inner world. At first glance, they come across as friendly, warm, and engaging. They'll compliment your style, remember your name, and ask all the right questions. But make no mistake, while they're gathering this data, they're also subtly vetting you. Are you thoughtful? Are you reliable? Do you have standards for yourself? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you've passed the first round. If not, you might never make it past the polite smile phase. They approach friendship the same way they approach almost everything, with intention. Libra's Venusian side craves emotional harmony, meaningful dialogue, and a genuine soul-to-soul connection. The rooster, on the other hand, brings a kind of loyalty that's structured and sharp. They don't make friends by accident. Every bond they form serves a purpose, whether that's intellectual stimulation, mutual growth, creative exchange, or spiritual support. They have no time for energy vampires, gossips, or flaky acquaintances. They're not unkind, but they are absolutely uninterested in wasting time on people who aren't aligned with their values or rhythm. Once you're in, though, the Libra Rooster is one of the most dependable friends you could ask for. They're the ones who show up, not just for the fun times, but when your world is falling apart. They'll listen for hours, offer incredibly nuanced advice, and follow up days later just to check in. They'll remember what's important to you, your dog's vet appointment, your job interview, your kid's science fair, and they'll make you feel like those things matter. Their loyalty isn't loud, but it's deeply ingrained. They'll defend you in your absence, speak highly of you to others, and subtly protect your image in social settings. Their friendship is quiet armor. They're also natural curators of joy. Social gatherings? Leave it to them. Whether it's a birthday dinner, a housewarming, or a low-key movie night, the Libra Rooster will plan everything down to the lighting and the playlist. They have a gift for creating environments where people feel seen, comfortable, and inspired. You'll never get paper plates and a bag of chips from this friend. It's charcuterie boards, artisan cocktails, and perfectly folded napkins. Not because they're trying to impress you, but because aesthetics matter to them. They believe beauty enhances connection, and they bring that belief into every interaction. But while they're generous and warm, they also have limits, and they expect you to respect them. Take them for granted, and you'll find their presence slowly start to fade. Disrespect them publicly, and they won't cause a scene. They'll simply vanish, elegantly, diplomatically, and with no desire for revenge. They don't need closure when they've already closed the door. This disappearing act isn't about ego, it's about preserving their own standards. The rooster doesn't cling to broken things, and the Libra doesn't like emotional mess. Together, they make cutting someone off look effortless. Another important nuance: they judge, quietly, but sharply. They won't always say it out loud, but they're constantly observing, analyzing, filing away impressions. They may smile at your new partner, but they've already clocked 3 red flags. They'll offer support when you're spiraling, but they'll also mentally tally how many times this cycle has repeated. Their judgments aren't cruel, they're protective. Of themselves, of their time, of the energy they've invested in you. And if they ever do express disappointment, it's usually layered in Libra diplomacy. But trust, the sting is still there. Still, their friendships are often long-lasting and deeply enriching. They attract friends who appreciate beauty, structure, emotional intelligence, and meaningful growth. They don't need to see you every week to remain close. Quality matters more than quantity. One heartfelt conversation is worth 10 shallow ones in their book. They often become the emotional anchor in a group, the person others call when they need grounding, clarity, or a beautifully worded pep talk. In the end, being friends with a Libra Rooster is like being granted access to a private club. One built on loyalty, refinement, and genuine care. You'll feel supported, challenged, and inspired to level up, because that's what they do. They raise the standard, and if you meet them there, they'll be in your corner for life. Quietly fierce, impeccably loyal, and always dressed for the occasion. Business, brains, branding, and ruthless precision. This is the arena where the Libra Rooster transforms from thoughtful charmer to high-performance force. Business isn't just a job for them, it's a stage, a strategy, and a statement all rolled into one. With the sleek intelligence of Libra and the obsessive discipline of the Rooster, they become a rare hybrid, a creative powerhouse with a corporate edge. They don't just show up to the boardroom, they own it. Whether they're negotiating a deal or pitching an idea, there's a polished elegance in every word and an undeniable sharpness behind every smile. Their charisma gives them an effortless networking style. They know how to make people feel seen, respected, and relevant. But that soft social grace masks a hardwired strategic brain. Underneath the pleasantries, they're calculating ROI, mapping power dynamics, and silently ranking your competence. The Libra side ensures they maintain harmony and likability, while the Rooster demands efficiency, clarity, and forward motion. That's why they're often trusted in leadership roles. They bring both empathy and expectation. They can handle high-stakes environments because they prepare for them like it's second nature. Their workspace tells you everything you need to know. It's visually appealing but ruthlessly organized. The color scheme is intentional. The lighting flattering but functional. Every object has purpose. Their calendar isn't just scheduled, it's curated. They don't just manage time, they engineer it. They see productivity as a kind of art, and they believe aesthetics directly affect output. A cluttered space is a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind is simply not acceptable. This combination of beauty and precision makes them highly efficient, with a personal brand that's both aspirational and intimidating. In terms of career paths, they're naturally drawn to industries where style meets structure. Fashion, architecture, brand consulting, event production, law, interior design, high-end retail, tech innovation, anywhere they can influence perception while executing systems. They're brilliant marketers because they instinctively understand storytelling and metrics. They can take an abstract idea, make it tangible, and sell it with conviction. Their presentations are airtight. Their emails feel like a mini masterclass. They obsess over font choice and analytics in equal measure. But with all this brilliance comes the potential trap: perfectionism. They don't just aim to do well, they want flawless. That PowerPoint slide? It's getting adjusted 14 times before the meeting. The pitch deck? Rewritten at midnight because one phrase didn't feel right. This obsession with getting things just so often means they work harder and longer than necessary. They may struggle to delegate, not because they don't trust others, but because they've trained themselves to spot every micro imperfection. And once they see it, they have to fix it. This can become exhausting, for them and for those around them. Colleagues may find them a bit controlling, even if it's wrapped in polite language. Internally, the Libra Rooster wrestles with the tension between idealism and reality. They want balance, but they also want brilliance. Sometimes, they sacrifice their own peace in pursuit of the perfect outcome. However, when they do learn to trust others, to release some control, and to accept the power of collaboration, their leadership potential becomes almost limitless. They inspire others not by brute force but by quiet excellence. People want to rise to their level, not out of fear, but out of admiration. They set a tone of excellence that redefines workplace culture. Even in entrepreneurship, they thrive. They're not afraid to launch a brand, pitch investors, or build something from the ground up. But they don't just build, they elevate. A Libra Rooster's startup won't be scrappy and duct-taped together. It'll be sleek, mission-driven, and investor-ready by the second draft of the business plan. Their ability to balance long-term vision with daily discipline makes them natural founders, especially when they choose a business that aligns with their aesthetic and ethical values. Ultimately, in business, the Libra Rooster is a rare force, as capable with numbers as they are with names, as graceful under pressure as they are ferocious in execution. They bring beauty into systems, heart into leadership, and excellence into every email, meeting, and decision. They may tweak the margins on a proposal for an hour, but when that proposal lands, it lands like a symphony, flawless, impactful, and unforgettable. Dark sides: perfectionism, pride, and control issues. Beneath the gleaming exterior of the Libra Rooster lies a shadowed realm few see at first glance. Their life may look like a seamless stream of organized schedules, stylish choices, and thoughtful conversations, but look closer, and you'll find cracks hidden behind curated perfection. The very traits that make them admirable, refinement, discipline, ambition, are the same ones that can turn inward and cause quiet chaos. They don't self-destruct loudly, they self-edit, and in that controlled editing process, some of their deepest struggles remain unresolved, masked behind a flawless surface and a practiced smile. Their perfectionism runs deeper than neat folders and crisp outfits. It's psychological. They often tie their worth to outcomes: how well they perform, how beautifully things unfold, how much they can maintain control. If they fall short in any area, the internal narrative can turn vicious. It's not just "I made a mistake," it's "I'm slipping." They fear mediocrity, not because they think they're superior, but because anything less than excellent feels like failure. This creates a constant inner pressure to do more, refine more, be more. And sometimes, it's exhausting. But they'd never admit that out loud. The obsession with appearance isn't just physical, it's conceptual. They care about how their life looks to others. They want people to see them as balanced, competent, elegant, and in control. This often leads them to curate not just their wardrobe or home, but their narrative. They may avoid expressing vulnerability because they think it disrupts the harmony they've worked so hard to build. If something looks polished from the outside, they'll convince themselves it's healthy, even when, deep down, they're emotionally starving. Instead of processing pain, they'll throw themselves into improvement projects. They clean when they're heartbroken. They organize when they feel lost. Control is another powerful current that runs through the Libra Rooster's darker side. The Rooster's critical eye and need for precision, paired with Libra's distaste for chaos, makes for a personality that often needs things done a certain way. And that way is usually their way. They can become quietly micromanaging, correcting small behaviors, refining your inefficient methods, or silently rewriting your approach to match their own standards. This can be suffocating for loved ones, especially because they rarely do it with cruelty. Instead, it's packaged in a calm, helpful tone, wrapped in, "I just want everything to go smoothly." But make no mistake, it's control disguised as collaboration. This need to control extends to emotional dynamics as well. They often feel responsible for the emotional aesthetic of a relationship. If things feel messy, they instinctively try to fix it, not by getting vulnerable, but by restoring order. And this leads us to one of their most subtle but damaging traits: emotional avoidance. They'd rather reorganize the spice rack than admit they're hurt. They'll host a dinner party the day after a breakup. Crying in front of someone else? That feels like weakness. So instead, they push pain to the side and continue performing balance, even if it means they never truly process what they feel. Then there's pride, a deep, often unspoken pride that makes it incredibly difficult for them to admit fault. They may intellectually know they're wrong, but emotionally, that admission costs too much. To say, "I was wrong," threatens the delicate image they've constructed of being composed, fair, and self-aware. So instead of direct apologies, they may offer peace offerings, doing something nice for you, changing the subject, pretending the conflict never happened. It's not malicious. It's self-preservation. They're terrified that admitting failure might undo the internal scaffolding holding them together. This pride can also make them unusually sensitive to criticism. They may seem calm and collected when receiving feedback, even nodding in agreement, but inside, it's chaos. They'll replay the conversation 100 times. They'll analyze your tone, your choice of words, your motives. Then they'll either work overtime to prove you wrong, or quietly resent the confrontation. It takes a lot for them to see criticism as an opportunity instead of an attack, especially if they feel it threatens the image they've so carefully managed. But here's the irony. Despite these shadows, the Libra Rooster is deeply introspective. They know they have flaws. They just prefer to fix them in silence, in private, without an audience. They believe growth is sacred, but they'd rather look like they've already grown. The journey matters to them, but only if it's beautifully framed. And that, in a way, is the core paradox of their dark side. The desire to be better is so powerful, it sometimes stops them from simply being human. The Libra Rooster's challenge is to let go of perfection as a prerequisite for love or worthiness. To understand that control isn't the same as safety, that looking composed isn't the same as being okay, and that pride loses its power when vulnerability is finally allowed a seat at the table. When they learn this, they don't lose their brilliance, they finally start to feel whole within it. Life goals. Legacy over luxury. Libra roosters were not born to live quietly in the background of life. They may not chase spotlights or indulge in over-the-top displays of wealth, but don't mistake their subtlety for small ambition. Their dreams are not loud, but they are massive. They're not interested in accumulating toys or flaunting status. What they want is meaning, substance, a name that echoes, a contribution that endures. They don't just want to succeed, they want to matter. And they're willing to work, polish, refine, and rebuild until they leave behind something that speaks for them long after they're gone. Their idea of legacy is built on purpose. Whether they're raising a child, designing a building, writing a book, or building a brand, it's never just about the act, it's about the imprint. Will this inspire someone? Will it elevate others? Will it make the world more beautiful, more thoughtful, more fair? That's what drives them. They crave impact wrapped in intention. Everything they pour themselves into must align with their inner value system, and that system is equal parts elegance and ethics. They want to be remembered not just as successful, but as someone who elevated the standard in everything they touched. This deep desire to leave a mark shows up early. Even as kids or teens, Libra roosters often have a curious sense of destiny. They're not just asking what they want to be, they're already asking why it matters. While others might be dreaming of fast cars or fame, they're imagining influence, building a nonprofit, launching a fashion line that empowers workers, creating films that shift cultural conversations. Their aspirations always have layers. Luxury might be nice, but legacy? That's the true currency. They are master visionaries, but they're also constant editors. They rarely rest on good enough. Once a goal is set, they immediately begin shaping it, refining the mission, upgrading the methods, checking every angle. This is where their rooster drive kicks in. They aren't just ambitious, they're relentless. They don't want fast results, they want excellent ones. They'll take a little longer if it means doing it right. And right doesn't just mean profitable or popular, it means ethical, aesthetic, and smart. They are often at their happiest when immersed in a passion project that fuses beauty with integrity. Comfort zones are a foreign concept to them. The Libra in them seeks balance, yes, but not stagnation. The rooster refuses to sit still for long. This creates a paradoxical ambition. They want inner peace, but they also need growth. So they chase progress within their values. They are the type to redesign their entire career path at 40 if it no longer feels authentic. They'll leave a well-paying job to start something that feels more aligned. And even if others don't understand their choices, they trust their inner compass. They don't need outside approval to make big moves, they need internal resonance. Part of their legacy-oriented mindset is tied to how they measure fulfillment. It's not about numbers in a bank account or likes on a post. It's about meaningful results. Did they mentor someone who went on to do great things? Did their business create real change? Did their presence in someone's life leave that person stronger, more confident, or more creative? These are the metrics they care about. And even if no one says it out loud, they feel when their contribution has landed. They know when they've left something better than they found it. That's their real reward. There's also an undeniable aesthetic to the legacy they're crafting. They want it to be not just impactful, but beautiful. Whether it's the way they decorate their home, the tone of their writing, or the branding of their company, it must reflect their vision. They have a need to polish the surface until it matches the quality underneath. Because for the Libra rooster, form and function are not separate, they are inseparable. To do good and to do it beautifully, that's the gold standard. Their path is not always linear. At times, they may feel torn between perfection and progress. They may get lost in editing the vision instead of living it. But once they learn that legacy is built through small, consistent choices, not just grand gestures, they begin to find their rhythm. And when they do, they're unstoppable. Each year becomes a chapter in their greater story, each action another brick in the foundation they're laying for generations to come. In the end, what the Libra rooster seeks is elegant impact. A life that's rich in depth, full of refined purpose, and marked by intentional success. They don't want statues or spotlights, they want significance. They want the kind of legacy that makes people pause and think, whoever they were, they did it right. And yes, if they can look effortlessly put together while doing all of that, so much the better. Final thought. So what truly happens when Libra's velvet-gloved diplomacy fuses with the Rooster's razor-sharp drive? You don't just get a person, you get a force. A living paradox wrapped in tailored elegance and powered by an unrelenting inner motor. Libra Roosters don't simply exist in the world, they refine it. They analyze it, elevate it, and make it undeniably more intentional. Their presence is never accidental. It's chosen, curated, and calibrated. Every conversation, every relationship, every endeavor is approached with a rare combination of beauty and strategy. They are magnetic, not in the loud, attention-seeking way, but in the way a perfectly lit gallery wall commands your eye. There's grace in their movements, intellect in their speech, and a quiet fire beneath their calm surface. They charm not through manipulation, but through precision. Every word has weight, every gesture has design. They know how to lead a room without ever raising their voice. And that's their superpower, the ability to influence through excellence. They are as articulate as they are analytical, as emotionally attuned as they are tactically prepared. But don't be fooled by the polish. Beneath the sleek exterior is someone who will challenge you to rise. Libra Roosters don't enable mediocrity in the people they love. They expect presence, integrity, growth. If you're in their life, it means something. They don't make room for half-hearted connections or inconsistent effort. But if you meet their energy, if you show up fully, with clarity and intention, they'll lift you. They'll pour into you. They'll become your most elegant mirror, reflecting not only who you are, but who you could be. However, they do have boundaries, and those boundaries are ironclad, even if they're wrapped in satin. Cross them, disrespect them, fall short too many times without reflection or repair. You won't get a confrontation. You'll get a calendar that mysteriously clears. A silence that arrives dressed like peace. You won't even know it's over until you realize you've been quietly removed from their world. That's the Rooster's steel, combined with Libra's refusal to dwell in disorder. It's graceful, but final, and always on brand. They aren't here to coast through life. They're here to build something worthy, of admiration, of memory, of legacy. Their drive isn't purely personal, it's architectural. They want to craft a life that others can look at and feel inspired, not envious. A life of aesthetic depth and practical achievement. They're balancing art and structure with every step they take. And when they hit the mark, they make it look effortless, even though it never is. And if you are a Libra Rooster reading this, you already know the truth. You felt the pull of perfection since day one, not for applause, but for alignment. Not to impress, but to express something deeper. Your mission to create a life that reflects your highest ideals. You are the walking proof that refinement and ambition can coexist. That elegance doesn't mean softness, and that grace can carry weight. You're not striving for perfection because it's trendy. You're striving for it because it's in your blood. You don't just live by high standards. You are the standard.